Good day, everyone. Thank you for coming to our meeting. We will get this started. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
If they call home. Any leaders or not, they certainly will be the leader of their family that they raise. Guide them in all the decisions they make. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Miss. Once again, thank you again for coming to our weekly meeting. We do, believe it or not, we have the next 3 meetings already have speakers. The 18th of this month, we'll have Jane Roush from, everybody, if you, as long as you remember who Jane was, she is a past district governor, and she will be talking to us about Rotary Foundation. The 1st of April, we have invited the Rensselaer Lady Bombers, the team, to come and be a part of our meeting so we can congratulate them and we can ask them questions and do whatever, make them uncomfortable as we can. And then the following meeting would be the top 20 for the Rensselaer. So next month in April, we have all Rensselaer school, which is exciting. All right, today's speakers, we have Missy Bowditch and Terry Fagley. They are going to talk to us about the Empowering Girls event that just happened, what, like 2 weeks? Almost just a week ago. Thank you.
Thank you. We made a quick PowerPoint. So hopefully that can get up here, but I'll just start and say, normally our Empowering Girls events have something to do with mental health. You know, a way to build them up, a way to get them ready for their future, a way to just prepare them for what they have ahead. So this time we did confidence. So the theme was Empowering Girls, Waves of Confidence Luau. So we did a tropical party, we had leis, they had just all kinds of great decorations. And they had a really, really good time. It was a fun event, maybe a little less serious than we have had before, which we really kind of liked that to lighten it up a little bit, but I think they had a great time. So, okay, you can see the PowerPoint. So setup was Sunday morning. That was a tough time to have a setup, but you know, we had to do what we could with when we could get the fairgrounds. So we had Missy and Sue Caldwell, myself, and Cole Reisner. And I'll tell you, Cole Reisner is a superstar. He worked and worked and worked. He really helped us get set up. Missy and I each called our friends in and begged, and they all came to help. So we were ready. It was a neat day to have the speakers that Missy had put together to do the activities. Of course, we had snacks and lunch and door prizes and all the fun stuff, but we also did some great speakers. So I'll let you kind of explain that.
Okay. We had 2 speakers this year. We had Mrs. United World, Jessica. I had happened to run into her at the fair and asked her if she would join us for this event. We also had past District Governor Jane Roush. They both had probably about 15-20 minutes to speak. Jane kind of spoke on the areas of leadership and had them do a little activity to kind of figure out what kind of leader they would end up being eventually. And then Jessica just kind of spoke to them about how she got the confidence to be where she is today.
Yeah, so that was great. Missy did work in DAC-DB for all the registration, so I'm gonna let her kind of explain that too, because that worked so slick. It was the best thing. So if you guys haven't signed up for DAC-DB, you can do so much in that program. But I'll let her kind of explain how she set that up.
Yeah. This year we were able to set an event in the calendar where we could get a link or a QR code, and anybody that wanted to register could either click on that link or go to the QR code and register everything. So we actually have a tracking of everybody that signed up for it, and how many we ended up having registered, even though not all of them showed up, but we were able to see how many were registered. If you'll go next slide, please. We were also able to break it down to where we could ask them questions. I had picked 4 questions. I believe one was age, what town you live in, any dietary restrictions, and how did you hear about us? The one thing that I gotta still kind of figure out is it just gave, because you could pick, like I picked, there's the ages right there, but I had to give it a number. So, I had to remember what that number stood for. So I had to take pictures on my phone and go back and forth and figure out what the numbers meant. But it helped us a whole lot this year with kind of keeping everything all together and all in one place.
You also though created a QR code,
Yes. we
and so
did.
that was great. So they could just, you know, do the QR code on their phone.
Yep, and we had it right there on the flyer, so anybody that saw the flyer could immediately sign up right there.
Right, so when I did the flyer, we made sure that Missy and I talked about what we needed on there, and then we all just shared it like crazy over Facebook. And so that was really, anybody that shared that, thank you. It was, yeah, that was a huge help, I think, to get everybody registered. So we've got some of the event, I think maybe next slide we need. We've kind of already talked about that. There you go. So if you look, you can see that we did a backdrop where they could do silly selfies, you know. They had little props that they could use, which were sunglasses or whatever they wanted to put up. They had a ball. And I think you even have in this picture, kids that really didn't even know each other before they got there that day. You know, but they all just got in this group and took this picture, and they really had a great time. This is Jessica. She had a great time too. She worked with them wonderfully. She just went table to table. They were just in awe of her by the end of the day. She's very charismatic and really was able to connect with them on a great scale. Up in the top corner, you'll see those were the glam bags. So as they came in, they were full of lip gloss and all this thing, you know, all the girly things. And they got to pick what color they wanted and then head to their seat. So that was kind of the highlight of it in pictures.
So for short-term and long-term impact on the participants, personal growth is the biggest one. The event significantly fosters personal growth by encouraging self-reflection and building confidence among the participants. Skills enhancement, participants enhance essential skills through hands-on activity and collaborative learning experiences during the event. Not necessarily only hands-on activity, but with the collaborating with people they don't know or their friends even, they build more confidence that way. And cultivating leadership qualities. The event helps cultivate leadership qualities by providing opportunities for participants to take the initiative and participate in discussions.
Right, and they did. It was funny, the speakers would be speaking and, you know, they weren't too brave at first, but then they got to ask us some questions and really got involved in the conversation, so it was nice. We go to the next one. So again, you're gonna see some of the other things that we did. So our initiatives are focused on empowering the girls through educational events and community engagement, which is what we did there. You know, we really got them talking about how they could get involved, the confidence to get involved in different activities. So what our future plans will be is we're gonna obviously build on the success of the last 4 years. You know, we've had some great success with this. We just get repeat girls, which is fantastic. We are, however, going to narrow down the age group from 9 to 14 rather than 10 to 18. We're going to maybe focus a little more on the older elementary and the middle school ages because those are the toughest ages for girls. So we're going to really kind of focus on that, but you can see that they made jewelry. Those were the great snacks from the care center. This is how the tables were all decorated. It was very fun, very welcoming, and I want to shout out to Mindy Byer because she really helped us with sponsorship, and it was amazing. So, any questions for us? They had a good time.
They did, they had a blast.
What did Allie think?
She loved it as always because she got to pal around with all her friends, you know what I mean? So, because we make it a big event, her friend comes and spends the night before and we all go to the event, so they look forward to it every year.
We actually had some walk-ins, which was really nice.
Mhm.
We had calls that morning hey, my kids wanna bring their friends, is that okay? We're like, come on, you know, so that was kind of a nice surprise too, so. I think that's all for us.
How many girls did you say?
Well, we had over 40 registered, but only about 30 of those 40 showed up, but you know, that's okay.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, and then we had the walk-in, so it really, it turned out to be a really well-rounded group. And Missy and I were talking about, for some reason, our itinerary just was so smooth this year. And we can't figure out what the dynamic was for sure. But it was from start to finish, it just flowed
Yeah.
great, so.
Well, could it be that you ladies have worked so hard on this, you've worked out more and more bugs and keep it
Yes,
smoother?
That could be.
So, yes.
Yeah, after 4 years, it should run pretty smooth, I
Right,
guess.
yeah.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Ladies, thank you once again for presenting the Empowering Girls event. We look forward to many years of the success of this. And being there on Saturday, or Sunday, excuse me, it was a pleasure to watch the girls have so much fun and enjoy their times. Very worthwhile, and I'm glad that Rotary could be such a big part of this event.
Absolutely.
All right, moving on. Does anybody have any old business they'd like to discuss? Okay. First off, a little sad news to announce. The end of May, Suzanne will be retiring and we will not have her services anymore.
Sad.
It is a sad day. We've really enjoyed.
So we're all going to her house at one time.
Yeah. We're gonna pile into the vehicles and just show up. No, we wish her nothing but the best. I've been in communication with her several times, and I told her that we will deeply miss her, but we are so happy for her. And, as I mentioned earlier, the next 3 meetings, we definitely have speakers. The April 1st meeting with the high school girls lady basketball team. Suzanne will be having a surgical procedure, and she will not be available for that meeting, which is perfectly fine. I think what we're gonna do is probably see if the girls would like some pizza or something. And if they want something else, we will definitely find something else for the young ladies. And then the following meeting will be our top 20. And like I said, once again, looking very, very much forward to having all the high school young adults in our room and being able to support them. I do know that in April, what is it? We have an event coming up that Rotary will be involved in. It is the St. A fundraiser, and I'm trying to remember. It is actually, I think, the 26th of April. That weekend is also the district conference, the all-in district conference down in Indianapolis. I know at least Mike and I think Terry and Missy are both going from the club. We've already signed up. I hope anybody else has that opportunity. What is it, every 10 years or so we've been doing? Is that about the average for the all-in district conference? It's gonna be a fun time. Looking forward to it. I've already seen that there's a lot of neat programs, nice programs, exciting programs for Rotary's future. In that time, Parker Valdez has said he's gonna take over and run that trailer for us, since Mike and I definitely will not be here. And I know we have at least one other volunteer to help run the trailer. So I will, anybody that wishes to volunteer, we will definitely need some help managing the trailer for that event. I think it's like 3 hours, I think at the most. It's a short window. I'll have more details later on. But other than that, I think we have at least one graduation party we're doing. We have no other commitments for that, and then we'll have our normal schedule of events with the pork burger trailer. Looking forward to, seems like it was a very short winter now, especially having an early event to get the trailer out. And once it comes out, we're ready to go. So, Mike, do you have anything district-wise? Missy?
we're gonna be sending Scott to President-elect Leadership Seminar. Actually, have changed the name from Pets to Pels. So Scott's not our pet anymore, he's our Pel. Anyway.
It's a big pill to swallow, isn't it?
It's been big pill to swallow. But they have changed that on the global. That is a very neat time. He'll come back obviously with a lot of fresh ideas, a lot of new stuff. New officers will be rolling in come July 1st. And so that's happening. That's always exciting. Kalamazoo. It's always jam-packed with new leadership. Our new RI president is going to be there. Great time. So that's exciting. That's coming up. If you do want to go to the conference in Andy, it is a one-day event. You will find that to be very informative as well. They have 16 different breakout sessions to choose from on that Saturday. So it would be worth your drive down to do that. If you want to go the night before, I know that we're planning on get together as well. There is a hotel available that you can still register. So, and there are rooms available. I do know that. So if you want more information about that, I always in these events, I say, grab somebody who's not in Rotary. What a great time for them to get the big view of what Rotary does. Because I've always said Rotary is just bigger than I am. And that's why I enjoy it so much. That's our two biggest events coming up. We will be talking about changing the gavel before you know, and I'm trying to come up with a catchy phrase. Instead of changing the gavel, it's gonna be something else. I'm not sure.
Scott 2.0.
Are we truly doing a change?
Absolutely, we have awards to hand out, so,
yeah.
so we
I forget about that.
gotta do some fun stuff, so.
All right.
We'll come up with
I just
something.
kind of been glossing over that.
Yeah, I know, and I knew if I didn't say something, it wouldn't get
I
said.
wasn't.
I was already gonna ask.
Yeah, that's what's,
True.
so we will do that sometime late June, we'll make that happen. It was really nice at, Knights of Columbus, maybe we can do that again.
That worked out pretty well.
It worked out very, very well.
Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add, discuss?
I'd like to mention that they haven't advertised it, but there is a new Mexican restaurant that is open, Maria's Mexican Restaurant. And it's at 116 or 114 West Washington Street, which is the old dining room of the bakery. So they just opened yesterday, and I went in to have a meal, and they were packed, and they said the wait was about an hour. So
That's nice.
sounds like
What's the name of the business?
Maria's Mexican Restaurant.
All right.
She had the taco truck out
I
as
was
a
gonna
fan.
ask that.
Yeah.
Maria's
So that's-
tacos, yeah.
yeah.
She's done well with that too. Looking forward to another successful restaurant in Rensselaer.
Have you thought about what we're gonna do for food then?
Later on,
Yeah, after.
Suzanne has given me a name of at least one caterer, I think, and I think she's located in Remington. I haven't contacted her yet, but I definitely wanted to ask the club what they prefer, what they'd like to do. So this is me asking. Anybody have any ideas? I will contact her to see if she's available and would like to, and price ranges and all that other, pricing and everything.
I guess that, sorry, Mindy, I guess the bigger picture too that comes into this mix that we're gonna have to address at some point. Most of you have watched how the fire department out here is just continuing to grow. Their training area out here, if you wanna go see a bunch of stuff, there's a bunch of stuff back here. I was just back there the other day, they even have an actual mock building now of a McDonald's for their commercial training, which I think is pretty cool. It has the McDonald's windows in it even already. So that, I meant, so
Can you get any fries?
they're a little burnt.
Well done.
Well, so Kenny had mentioned to us when they got this state grant, as, that's been going on for a couple of years. What is going to happen is this is going to become a regional training spot. I'll make this real concise, because what that's gonna mean then, this room is gonna wind up being used and utilized on a daily basis during the day as a training facility at some point. It's not happening tomorrow, it could happen later this year, but part of the agreement with the grant given to them was that training would be done on site. It has already started, but most of them right now are evenings and weekends. But at some point, we may need to consider a move even for our meeting, because this may not become available. His words, commitment to me was, he said, don't quote me, so I'm not quoting Kenny, but he said, well, I'll do everything I can to save that Tuesday space for you guys, but obviously, it being part of the agreement for the training, there's only so much you can do. I'm answering your question with, there may be a point where we would either need to move around, move to another place, our food situation, our meal situation might change. Yes, we're only meeting a couple times a month, but we try to do it in a semi-private way, because John usually is one doing all the talking. Good to see you, John.
Shows up late.
Shows up late. But, so that's gonna, I think that's gonna come into the mix as well. We did transition the other night, and I wanted to say thank you to those that put together the wine room on that Wednesday night. That was cool. I mean, that is a very cool little spot. So we're gonna move around in the evenings, but, so we're gonna be looking for that. We have several food options that we've already looked into. Strachan Van Tills has offered to box something, and they usually have a pretty good hot deli thing every day. I go there pretty often, and they would even do special for that. So I would also take this one step further with you, Scott, and say, we need all your suggestions as soon as we can, because this takes time to start transitioning around. We did look into the building downtown, and it really wasn't gonna work for us because we were only meeting twice a month, and it was a little bit outside of our budget. We did look at that, I don't know, it's been a couple of years ago now.
Which building was that?
Is the other place, is that right? Top,
Yeah,
is that,
Top Link,
Top Link, there we go. Just trying to,
the
Do the-
blooming group.
yeah. The old REMC building, and they have several areas in there that are semi-private, but you have to rent them a month at a time, or there's a contract
They have
involved. And it just-
they have a bigger meeting room, but they also have like office space to put all of our stuff in to be able to wheel back out and use in the meetings too, instead of trucking everything in.
Right.
Setting everything, because it's usually one, maybe two people that's setting everything up all the time.
But it was a little bit outside of our budget at that time, and we can revisit that, obviously. We've talked about Ida's banquet room, we've, starting to look into that, and, they do have an actual separate area now, that, they do. And in the summertime, we can sit out on the patio,
Right.
and
That'd be cool.
the, so there are some options, and I have no problem with us, I guess, injecting into this, have no problem with us moving around a little bit. I do believe that at least we have to look at semi-private, because we tried the public thing with a couple of the restaurants, and it just didn't work because of the mix, and obviously we have speakers and, that kind of stuff. So that would be my suggestion as far as that part's concerned. But
We could even move around monthly.
yes, a month at a time, it'd be
Like
just two
Curtis-
meetings, yes,
Usually Curtis Creek this month, Ida's this month, or what,
right,
rather than always the same or
right.
having to move every meeting.
And we could be a little more mobile than we are. I mean, that's part of it. Some of our pieces are big, but we have smaller stuff that we could travel with, and the flags and banners aren't that hard. But, I mean, one of the things we talked about on our Wednesday nights is I'm gonna get a centerpiece for the table that just has a Rotary flag and stuff in it. I mean, it's, you know, just something that, you know, people can see us, people can see us meeting together, you know, that's, you know, that piece by itself. I mean, I don't think we're getting a new banner for the year, that's this year's theme, but they aren't putting out new banners, from RI anymore. They are doing their president's theme, but it's, not gonna be promoted quite as heavily as it has been in the past. But, I don't know, that's all of the information. It took me a little bit, but, I know that that's on the horizon for us. for
It's
sure.
something we really need to start having suggestions and input from everybody, because this is our club, not just
Right,
my club.
well,
But I do really want your ideas and inputs, because this is something that we, especially on the food end, locations, because as of right now, we are fine here. We just don't know how long that will last. And it may last for a lot longer than we think, we don't know. It's just something we do need to consider.
plan B. I have plan B.
I think it's always nice too if we are like giving others business too. You know.
Right. Right.
I think it was actually George Tonner that had said it, and I know he told me, he said that the key with Rotary is that you have to have a good meeting spot, you have to know where it's at, you gotta have good programming, you have to have good food, and you gotta be visible. People have to know. I know like with the scout troop, when we lost the cabin because we had to, it was condemned. People thought the Boy Scouts had dissolved because it was in the park. It was an oddity. You saw this cabin in the middle of the park. And you're like, what's that? And you say, it's a scout cabin. Well, I mean, now we're back in Camp Caney and you know that, and I won't bore you with that, but you're out of the public's eye. So there is a point to be made about being out there, showing the flag, having the banner, you know, we are alive, we are here, something, just something.
One more piece to that too is, it does affect our membership and, being able to bring in new members and that kind of thing. So it's important to, again, you know, be branded, be out there, let people know that Rotary is. I mean, we do that pretty well with Pork Burger Trailer. I mean, I guess we could meet the Pork Burger Trailer. I don't know.
You had mentioned, for the open house, the graduation this year was one.
We have one so
We're
far.
committed for one more open house.
Okay, obviously all my kids have, I've done two open house. But, I think that's awesome because it does generate a conversation. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've been to open houses where people have no problem bringing food trailers from New Buffalo, Michigan City, Indianapolis.
Yep.
My God, I mean, they're driving from another state for an open house. I mean, we can do it right here, you know, and it's good food.
We didn't have any last graduation, but the graduation before we had one.
And we've had a lot of interest. I've gotten, it just hadn't followed through or come completely around yet. But that first year, I had probably 4 or 5 phone calls and I'm like, oh boy, it's gonna be a whole nother season.
Well, yeah, it's like depending on how busy you wanna be, you could put out there.
Right.
You wanna hire us for your event, you know, but then you're trying to find workers and, you know, and that comes with its own
Always
set of
trying to find
complications.
workers.
And it's only about a 3-weekend window,
Yes.
you know, so you only probably put together about 3 of them. So,
We're a very spoiled group because we have always had 2 entrees with every meal. And that's unique.
yeah.
Michael tests this everywhere we go. We talk about what we do in our meetings, and they're like, "Oh, you're the group that has the nice, fancy menus." And we're like, "What are you talking about? This is normal."
You know, and this has become a real topic of conversation on a national level, and I've been in quite a few meetings where the food element obviously it's just, it could be even to the point of divisive. All of you guys have served as presidents, you've sat in meetings where, you know, there are people are like, what do you do? I don't know what to do, you know, with brown bag. One of the things that's really happening too, It's the other total extreme, puts all the cards on the table. To get in younger members, you can lower our dues by not requiring having the lunch, but be in a spot where lunch is an option. I'll use DeMont KV Club, for example. They moved to Pizza King. If you want lunch, you buy lunch. The guys at Pizza King bring it back to the private room that they're in. And if you don't want lunch, that's fine. You don't have to do that. So it's not built into the dues like that we do it. Because the expense element of lunch is, we're looking at it, we have to do X amount for a caterer, whether we eat all of it or not, and for it to even be worth their while. And I don't have those numbers right in front of me, but somebody might be able to help me. It's been a minute since I visited all this, but I know that we are charging every member. The way we're structured, every member, whether you eat or not, it's built into the dues. And that's how we underwrite the meals. If we didn't do that, we couldn't afford it. Because during some particular person's presidency, I'm not gonna mention who he is, but I shave his face. Anyway, we went about $500-600 in the hole because I wasn't managing that correctly. So there is that piece of it that where if it were optional, you might find a younger member say, okay, I can do that. I can bring my own lunch, or I can do, whatever. So there are other ways to go at this. And we've explored these over the years. We tend to find ourselves to be a lunch club. We like our lunch. Sat in one international meeting one time, and the gal at the table kept looking at us when we were talking really funny, and she was from Germany, she goes, why do you Americans have to eat at all your meetings? So there is that piece. She says, you guys act like we're Americans. Like, yes.
Food is an American thing. No other country does it during their meetings.
So that's a bigger picture.
I'm not saying it's a bad.
I'm not saying, I don't like it myself. So that, I don't know, probably need to put it to some kind of a question, maybe in an email, so people can respond freely, and certainly do that. So I don't know, but it's good that we're having the conversation. And thank you, Terry, for writing like a wild woman, because I know this is gonna wind up in the minutes, and that's gonna be important too, that people are able to see it. And thank you, Scott, for keeping us live. I don't know, I looked a minute ago, we had quite a few of them on there. That we're enjoying that. So if there's people online, write your comments.
And with being back online, the email I sent out earlier this week, we will be starting our meetings at 12:15. Whether we're ready or not, we will be starting. That way we can keep a consistency in those that can join us online. So sometimes the room may be empty, but we will start at 12:15.
We have a couple of them out there looking right now. I don't know who they are, I can't tell from my feet.
Which I don't have a problem with starting at 12:15. Even if I'm the only one in here speaking, they won't know. But no, that's fine. This is easy to do, and I don't mind doing all this. Yes, guys.
What I learned during my presidency is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Rotary runs itself. And when you try to make changes, this is what I found. It just kind of messed things up a little bit. To me, the key would be consistency.
Mhm.
So it's been very hard for me to do the evening meetings because I grew up doing the lunch. I'm so used to doing the lunches, I can't seem to shift gears. But I think some of you really like it. But if you rotate around to different restaurants and things, I think that would be confusing. We'd be like, okay, where are we now? Where are we going? I think what you'd have to do is have privacy and consistency if we go to a restaurant. So we tried to meet for a while because when I was president, or right before, we lost our location at the basement of the First Christian Church. We'd been there since our inception. So it happened to fall during my presidency. So we went out to St. Joe, and that was great because we had different rooms out there up there at Halleck Center, but the food was terrific. But then it just didn't work for them. It was a hassle, and we went from there out to Royal Oak. Is that the name of the restaurant?
Rico's.
Rico's Inn.
Rico's,
Rico's Inn, yeah.
which they had their own little room. It was beautiful. And then I think we went from there to here. Is that right? Well, we tried to go to the bakery, had that offshoot.
You're at Embers also.
Embers and Fenwick's was all in there too.
Okay, that's right. We forgot about that. So, but we tried to go into the other room of the bakery, and it was loud in the other room, so we didn't really have privacy.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have guest speakers and you're filming, and you may want to keep that, or take that
sure.
into consideration.
Oh, yes, and that's why like Mike suggested, I will send out an email, and I hope everybody would answer. You don't have to answer to the whole group, just answer it individually, because I want anybody and everybody's input. Because like I said, this is going to be a decision that we need to make as a group.
And everything's back on the table too, guys and gals, because, the 2 meetings, we went to that because we were struggling for attendance, and we still kind of still do. I'm grateful for the nucleus. It's here every 2 weeks. And we should continue to do that. I'm not saying that we shouldn't. There are other options too that I don't think we should take anything off of the table, because we are trying to reach new members. That's my point. And whatever works. And I know our younger group, our younger professionals constantly say to us, I meet clients at noon. I just cannot, I can't give that up. And so, I mean, there's all kinds of things. It's a changing world, and there's all kinds of options out there. So anything that we can come up with that will work, and we've got commitments to make that happen, that would be okay too. Just so you know, I don't know that we're necessarily locked in. Yes, change is hard, and it will be confusing for a little bit, but that we got to keep the communication high and just keep working at it. And there's a lot of new stuff coming out from Rotary International, and I know Scott will be bringing that back and sharing that. And so anything that you feel that might work for our club or for your friends or your colleagues, ask somebody, what would it take for you to come to a Rotary Club meeting? What would work for you? It'd be interesting to know. It's just a good question. Maybe they wouldn't come anyway, but what is the answer to that?
I would ask this question, and maybe there's somebody listening that's not here that would know the answer. Is St. Joe even an option anymore, like the core building? I know they still try to keep the lights on, and they have classes out there. I've not been out there really since it's closed, and I don't know if anyone else has been, but is that even a viable option?
Could, yeah.
I think it could be.
You could rent a room, I believe.
Yep.
It's pretty much a core building, I think they're using now, so.
They just filled it up with something else too. I saw this past week. It was there's another group coming in that's going to be doing the lineman training, which is a pretty big group. And it sounds like it's going to be a permanent situation. They're building a 10-acre training site and what have you out there.
For
So
full climbing and
for
everything.
full climbing and stuff. So
it's a
I
big
do
deal.
know that it's getting utilized.
Yeah,
That's my
I
point.
just didn't know if it.
Who's doing that?
It's the Indiana Linemen's Association, I think is what it's called. I'm close.
It's because they require 3 things. They require a big enough site to be able to do the poles and everything. Second, they require housing and availability of food for the guys if they want to go out at night.
Oh.
So in
restaurants, yeah.
Rensselaer has checked off all 3 of them, and they're excited about the possibilities of what they can do with their new site. So
Where's it
it's,
located up
The classroom will be in the core building, and then it sounded like, I got the impression that they were gonna use some of the area back by the lake.
Hmm.
That was the impression I got. 10 acres in one spot, having worked out there, has to be back there somewhere. Because otherwise they'd be using the lawn. To have 10 acres, because I know the housing development is pretty much eating up all that space on that side, so just about have to be in the lake area as far as cleared land. So that was the impression I got.
Anybody else? Okay, Dean, you wanna do
Well,
happy dollar time?
Yeah, let's just do that. Anybody got a happy dollar?
I've got a happy dollar. I was, and you guys have all been following this, I think Rensselaer made a huge breakthrough. The girls went to state, first time in the history of the program, and Rensselaer did itself proud. And nobody knows the exact number, but there were over 5,000 people there, if not more than that, and I'm sure there were. And they didn't win, but they did win, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that was good.
I was there too.
Okay,
Great.
yeah.
Yes.
I watched it. We live streamed it. It was great.
We did too.
Yes, Scott.
Just giving half
Okay.
a dollar for the team, for the Rensselaer Lady Bombers.
Birthdays, anniversaries.
I got a couple of happy dollars. I'm not having another birthday. They're coming too fast. I really appreciate, I don't know if you guys really know this, but the leadership of our club is something to be proud of and happy about. And I'm not tooting my own horn, but it's pretty cool to hear from the district, what's Rensselaer doing, because they want to know. And we are, this club, while it may be small, is a leader in, I'm on meetings every Monday morning. We are a leader in our district, whether you realize that or not. And I don't think that's just because I'm involved with that. They want to know. The Empowering Girls is trademarked. It has gotten international recognition. Some of our pictures have landed in the zone meetings and landed at in Chicago, and because of what we do here as a group. So all of you that have served as presidents in this club are to be thanked for that. So that's what I'm happy about. It's coming from a club with a very rich heritage, and those of you that are leading now, I appreciate Scott a lot. I don't say it enough probably to him. I think Faith thinks he and I have a bromance going on, but it might be so. I don't know.
You talk an awful lot.
Yeah, Terry hears some of our conversations. But I appreciate that. And even Missy did it before him. Taking a second round as a president and doing it with a smile and with energy is a difficult thing. So I want to say thank you, and that's my happy thoughts. So, thank you.
With you on the pathway to the governorship, that puts us, what, at 7? Is there another club out there that would have 7?
I think there is one club, and I'm trying to find out, because you know,
I mean,
I like
it was like
numbers.
Fort Wayne or South Bend or something.
It would actually be either South Bend or Elkhart would be, it is not Fort Wayne, believe it or not.
Yeah,
They've
that
only had about,
surprised me, it wasn't.
they only have about 4 that have come out of that club, so. But we're trying to find out. I'm trying to find out.
Anything else? All right. We
Yeah,
have-
Jeff had something.
Did you want me to go over that,
Yeah, go right ahead, will you?
real quick? I did have a talk with Heather with the park department about what we discussed last meeting about donating. This is kind of the stuff we talked about. We talked about the Hyper House. Right now, they have somebody that's donated about $20,000. They have their name on the activity part, but not the building. So it's gonna be between 20 and 25,000 if we want our name on that. The Gifford shelter roof is gonna be about 17, just under 18,000. If we went, for that, the pool house is about 25,000 for the new roof. The pool house does not have a name on it. They're gonna need these items. Replace the diving board is gonna be about 7,000. New water slide, about 5,000. New pool furniture and umbrella is gonna be somewhere between 4 and 5. I know one of the things that was discussed last meeting was somewhere around the 10,000. So what she thought about, if we wanted to do the water slide and the new pool furniture, she brought out the name of, calling it Rotary Beach for that. So that way it could be called that and we can get a plaque on the building. If that's something that wouldn't be done, but I did talk to her, so I want to make sure I said that.
Thank you, Jeremy, for finding out, getting all that information first.
You have to move to Roseland.
Careful. All right, take that into consideration. We will bring that up on next meeting. If anybody has any input they would like to add to that, either now, we can either do it now, or we can do it in the next meeting, it does not matter.
Did we have a data when we needed to let her know by?
No. No,
Do we still
nothing.
have a whole lot of money? Do we still have a whole lot of money right now?
We're still sitting pretty.
I do not have the exact figure with me, but yes, we still,
Lot.
we,
How much
we,
was the slide and the furniture?
The slide was 5, and the new pool furniture and umbrellas were between 4 and 5.
Thank you.
like I said, if we want to think about it, discuss it at the next meeting, we can definitely do that. Or we can move forward as the club sees fit.
Our last January financials, those that have asked, that Matt put out, trying to find the actual number. We are still showing, so I'm trying to read this on my phone. I think we're still at 30-something thousand.
Yeah,
Wow.
we've had 2 years in a row that we have not really given a lot of money, and we raised a lot of money.
See what happens when there's no Ayler as president?
But
Wow, I wanted to say that.
I also want to. And I hope we do give away everything we make every year. I really hope we do. That's what I would like to see.
I was gonna say, I know we talked about the DC trip and things. I have heard, I don't know, you would obviously know, but I heard from a parent that Missy had told them that they are really struggling at getting donated hogs. Is that true?
That was true. That was true. It's not anymore,
Okay.
thanks to the generosity of this club. And a few other people that have stepped in, they did get the number that they needed, and they are being processed. So that hurdle has been crossed.
Okay.
We donated 1,000 for food cost and 2,500 for scholarships to the students that need extra assistance.
And I don't know how she pulled it off, but she's getting 14 cases of eggs. And as I told you, that's like liquid gold.
Yes,
I mean, they're gonna honor that. And she thought we were gonna switch to a pancake breakfast. Because it's like, no way, but they're gonna do it.
Now that 30,000, I don't think included the money that we have given out in the last meeting or so, like that 3,500.
As of, the end of January, I misspoke. It looks, our total assets are 28, and it appears that all bank accounts is somewhere right around 20.
Sometimes.
So I misspoke.
Okay.
I'm glad I found that.
Yes, I thought we were a little high, but
Yeah.
but I wasn't gonna argue with it without having it in front of me.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? All right, Missy has the numbers for our 50/50.
914.
The Orville. Or is that Dean?
914.
That's Orville.
Come on, Orville. Win that pot. Checking there, Russ. Did he have the ticket?
Yeah,
I know he does.
he had 3 of them with all 914.
All of them are 914. Wait a minute.
Oh, it's a
Oh, you were getting close.
Ah.
You were getting close.
Another one down. Okay. Anything else from anybody? All right, let's stand for the four-way pledge, please. Four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned?
Will build goodwill and better relationships. Will be beneficial to all concerned.
Thank you, everyone.